So I read a post earlier that said, it was a quote that I saw on someone's feed that said, I could be fighting my own demons and I still protect you from yours. That's just who I am, loyal even when I'm bleeding. And at first that sounds nice, and I read it to someone else and they were like, oh, oh, he's probably not telling the truth, or oh, he's probably oh, that's sweet or whatever. But at the end of the day, it's like, is it sweet? And I get it. I can be a cynical person sometimes. So I have to read something a few times to make sure I'm not overreading. But this right here, it was like, this person said, I'm going to neglect myself in order to help you. And is that really helping you? Is that really going to, you know, in the long run? Because I feel like, someone, he's going to end up bleeding all over you. Those neglected demons of his that he's neglecting to help you with yours, it's going to look like a crime scene in a little while because they're going to surface. It's not possible that a person can neglect themselves. This is why I say, now that I would, I want two whole people to come together. And I'm no therapist. I'm, none of that by any means, but this is just, to me, simple stuff to understand. We often find the beauty in neglecting ourselves at for someone else, but that's not how this thing is supposed to work. Because, like I said, at the end of the day, either he's going to be bleeding on you or you're going to be bleeding on him. And the reason why loyalty, this kind of loyalty, sounds powerful because we romanticize it, and we're saying, like, oh, he's a protector, oh, he's sacrificing, oh, he'll ride or die, type of thing. And really, and truth is, trauma bonds feel intense. They are like, this, oh, that energy that gives you, tends to almost give you life sometimes, right? But mm-mm, mm-mm. I don't want anybody who has not dealt with their own stuff. Like, I want you to come into this hole, and I want to come into this hole, and we just rock it out together, just like that. But and I used to be that type of person as well. I used to be that type of person. Well, I just wanted to feel needed. I just wanted, because that's somehow in my mind solidified my place in their life. You know what I'm saying? And so one of my notes says, we live in a culture that praises a person who will burn themselves alive to keep someone else warm. Now I get it. If that's your child, and I do emphasize child, meaning child between birth to maybe 18, for certain instances, yeah, that we do require, they do require a level of sacrifice, but not a mate. Not a mate. You shouldn't have to destroy yourself or neglect yourself to be in partnership with anyone. Um, I don't want anything that sounds a little bit too romantic for me. That sounds too romantic for me. I don't want the Romeo and Juliet, you know, um, suicidal type of love. I don't want that. Like I said, I want someone who comes in whole, and you should too. There's no reason that he can't go and heal. He doesn't have to. He's not a therapist either. He can't come and heal and help me with my demons. What is he gonna do? Our demons are gonna fight each other. They're gonna fight each other, and that's it. Like I said, I was always in fixer mode. I was always in that mode where, you know, um, when you grow up needing to survive, you become hyper aware. You know, you learn to manage other people's emotions. You learn to anticipate moods. You learn to stabilize chaos. And so that was part of me, neglecting myself and anticipating, like, when is this person, or what is that person feeling right now? Or, all this other stuff and not really paying attention to how all this was affecting me in the long run, right? So, as I said before, for me, being needed was the same as being valued. Like, if I wasn't needed, and I think that's why I chose broken people, because they needed me. They needed something. You know, I couldn't date a healed man because he didn't need anything. He didn't need what I had to offer. You know, he didn't need that. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to find all these little broken strays, and I'm going to, wash them up and give them a little fleet bath and put them back together, and then they're just going to love me. They're just going to love me because I did all this for them. And like I said, when someone says they'll protect you while they're bleeding, like I said, they're ignoring their own healing. They're addicted to being the strong one. They avoid vulnerability by staying in protector mode. They create imbalance, and imbalance in relationships breeds resentment. He might protect you today, but tomorrow he might blame you for the wounds he never treated. So saying something like this, sounds good on the surface, but it's really not. It turns into bitterness. It turns into that person you know, who ultimately has to have someone to blame for their inadequacies, for their abandonment, for their issues that they came into the relationship with. You didn't cause, they came into the relationship with this. And it says, sometimes two wounded people fall in love with each other's survival skills. You bond over trauma, over chaos. You mistake emotional intensity for depth. You admire how strong they are in pain. But healing is not mutual suffering. Healing is mutual responsibility, as I said in the beginning. He comes in here whole, I come in here whole, and then we, two wholes together, coming together, not two these little jigsaw puzzle where we're trying to 100-piece, 1,000-piece puzzle. We're trying to put each other back together. That's not what we're here to do. And real loyalty in relationship doesn't sound like I'll bleed for you. It sounds like I care about you, but I'm working on myself. I can't save you, but I can support you. I won't bleed for you, but I will heal beside you. And that's for people who are already in a relationship. But if you are not in a relationship, yeah, you just need to come in whole. But for people who are already maintaining a relationship and they decide to, do the healing journey, then yeah, these are things you would say to one another. We don't glorify pain. We don't confuse suffering for devotion. And we don't reward self-neglect. Like, I don't want you to neglect yourself, and I'm not going to allow you to let me neglect myself. So there was a time in my life that I thought love meant endurance. I could survive it. If I could survive it, I thought it was worth it. Who else? Raise your hand. Who else thought that? Yeah, we thought if, it'll be okay one day. But again, love is not something you survive. It's something that supports your healing. God didn't call me to bleed for everyone or anyone. He called me to be whole. We already had Christ to bleed for us, and that's why healing is holy. because when we heal, we can become our full, authentic selves, and we can help other people. But if we're bleeding, we're just causing trauma, trauma wherever we go, right? So if someone says they're bleeding but still trying to save you, ask yourself why they haven't stopped to heal themselves first. In a airline, when they give you the little safety talk, I was like, okay, well, if there's trouble and the oxygen mask drop, put yours on first, right? They put yours on first. Don't try to put everyone else's on first, because you're gonna pass out. Trying to put theirs on before you put yours on. Yeah, put yours on first. Do your work first. So I don't want to talk anyone out of loyalty, because loyalty is beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. But not at the cost of ourselves. We don't want to sacrifice ourselves for someone else. Because again, put your oxygen mask on first. So as I said, healing is not bleeding all over one another. And let me get back to this 1 second, because I forgot my title. Is loyalty in relationships actually self-abandonment? Some forms of loyalty are. If you are not focused on your journey, your healing journey, and trying to help someone else, yes, that's self-abandonment. So remember, healing is holy, and don't be triggered, be healed. God bless.